Here's a sword type I'd only gotten to see in books and that kind of thing until very recently, so I'm excited to share this with you. This is from Africa. It's an Asante ceremonial sword. The Asante were a rich, powerful kingdom in what is today Ghana. This sword here is from the 20th century. You can see the amount of gold that was on the handle there. That's one indication of the wealth that the rulers had. Now, this is a traditional sword type, an actual functional sword type. It's just, richly decorated using ray skin on the sheath and gold on the handle. It didn't say this in the literature here at the museum, but I found online that this type is called an akrafena, and these really are and were a state symbol. So they were used in allegiance ceremonies where you swore allegiance to the state. So it was a ruling, governing symbol, not just ceremonial in the sense of, traditional rituals, like where you're blessing something or at a village level. Well, let's take a look at the different parts. The sheath is really noticeable because of the ray skin. It gives it a super cool look. That color theme is carried forward on the handle, which obviously has these two huge orbs, and there's a nice detailed look. Speaking of the practical applications for a sword type like this, the one on the front at the top of your hand would in fact provide an effective guard. The piercings or carvings there, to me, kind of match. They didn't just match in color, the top and the bottom of the sword, but in texture a little bit too. I wonder if that was purposeful by the artist so that the bumpiness of the ray skin, if you will, is kind of imitated up above. Speaking of up above, at least the way they presented this sword here, because it's pommel up, blade down, that's gold leaf on wood that you see there at the very top and on the handle itself. Now, they had like large, solid gold objects as part of this display of Asante royalty, but this was not one of them. Letting you hear some background museum noises there, and in case you can tell, I just love the look of that sword. You saw this more than once in the background, so let me explain. This was also used in ceremonies, and if you were important enough, you got to sit under one of these while a servant held it in place. Here's another little bonus. This is actually a sword decoration. Speaking of, more serious gold artifacts, like I was talking about a second ago, take a look at that. I can only imagine that the sword that it sat on or was attached to wouldn't have any functional shape, size, or weight, whereas the last one we saw did. I mean, if you had to unsheath it and use it, it would work just fine. Anyway, back to the video's subject, a very cool African sword. Important ceremonial object and work of art. Thanks.